at Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission in Delhi, where I participated as a resource and I talked about on communication. Since then, I know him. In between, also we keep in touch with each other. Friends, let me tell you about myself. So I don't want to put Himanshu into trouble. So basically, I'm with the pharmacy background. I studied at Jadavpur University, Calcutta, and I belong to Odisha. Work for a long times as a teacher, more than 33 years. And I have more than 27 years of research experience. And so far, I have guided successfully 17 PhD and 4 members are in the pipeline. I have also worked as a National Technical Officer in the WHO Country Office for India, looking after the Essential Medicines Program. And 1 year out of this Essential Medicine Program, 1 year exclusively, I looked after the AYUSH program. And I am for a long time with this pharmacovigilance because I am one of the initial person who have motivated, who have designed the initial planning how we should go for both pharmacovigilance program for modern medicine as well as the pharmacovigilance program for ASU medicine. And at this moment, I am a member of the Government of India committee where the community pharmacist can be included in pharmacovigilance program. These are all my professional activities, but beyond that, I have some other passion, like I am a columnist. I write in newspaper, pharma magazines, and other even the general science magazines. And I am a trainer on medicine supply management, pharmacovigilance, pharmacoeconomics, rational use of medicine, and so on. Friends, who controls the present? Very carefully, listen. Who controls the present, control the past and the future. So who is in the helm of affairs? And you know many things are happening. And I joined Director Sir telling because the AYUSH development has enormously improved from 2014 onwards, and AYUSH become a ministry. Previously, AYUSH was just a department under the Ministry of Health. So, who controls the present, control the past and the future, and we need to know both the past and the present. Future, of course, we can plan. Friends, the medicinal product, either it is modern medicine or it is traditional medicine, as far as we are concerned, India, we have the traditional medicine is Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani. And of course, the other system of medicine also we have in India is homeopathy. So whatever the pathy we may have, friends, one thing you remember, we have many pathies. We have many pathies, homeopathy to allopathy, but patient does not need all these pathy. What patient need is your sympathy. So look at from that angle, and if you look from that angle, we'll always look at the safety is our prime concern because in no way patients should be harmed. And the use of medicine can harm the patient. So that is why we have the four qualities of the medicinal products: safety, efficacy, quality, and price. So all four are equally important, but today's our concern is on the safety. The two great people in the history we see, Napoleon Bonaparte, he said, I do not want two diseases, one nature made and one doctor made. This is what the Napoleon Bonaparte at those days says. Then another philosopher, Oliver Wendell, said, I firmly believe that if the whole of the materia medica as of use now could sink to the bottom of the sea, it would be all better for the mankind and all the worse for the fishes. But these are just the quotes, emphasizing, yes, that there is every possibility the medicine we use can harm us. So today's presentation we'll have the sequence. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? Scope of pharmacovigilance and genesis of pharmacovigilance and the pharmacovigilance in Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. What is the current scenario? Some concerns and what we can do. And very, very always important what we can do. Yes, we have this subject, we have all these things, but whether I can contribute to it. Friends, pharmacovigilance has come from the two word pharmacon, which means the drug. The pharmacology, even the Ayurvedic pharmacology people also will be knowing this. Pharmacon is a drug, and vigilare is to be alert and to keep and watch. So this is the genesis of the pharmacovigilance word. But friends, comparatively, other subject matters in medical science or health science, pharmacovigilance is very, very new. This is the first time people have used in France in 1960s. And WHO could introduce this terminology, pharmacovigilance, in its activity only in 2002. You can imagine how new this terminology to us. And within this period, the definition of pharmacovigilance has undergone several transformations, and at this moment, it is the science of collecting, monitoring, researching, assessing, and evaluating information from healthcare providers and the patient as well on the adverse effect of medicine, biological products, herbals, and traditional medicines. See, it keeps of every medicinal products that has been used. Even now it has gone little beyond that. It has gone little beyond that. Even the blood also, blood transfusion is also included, and even in India we have hemovigilance. So why do we need to identify the information which could be hazardous, which could be potentially hazardous? So that means identifying those hazards. So once we know the hazards, we can prevent them from occurring at patient's point when the patient is using. Look at the pharmacovigilance. It is no longer just restricted to the adverse events. We have several terminology. We have the side effect, then we came to the adverse effect, then now we are adverse drug reactions. Now we are talking of adverse events. The medication error is included in pharmacovigilance. The drug-drug interactions are included. The counterfeit or fake medicines are also included, and abuse and misuse of medicines. In addition to that, that there is lack of efficacy, that also be part of now pharmacovigilance. Friends, you might have seen in the beginning of the COVID-19, many medicines were used, many medicines were tried as repurposed medicines, and later we found those medicines are not much used in COVID-19. So even if we have everything we have, but still there are a lot of monitoring is required, and all those monitoring is pharmacovigilance. Basically, we have two methods in pharmacovigilance: the spontaneous reporting. Spontaneous means I noticed, I report. I noticed, I report. Yes, there are many challenges. Why should I report? If I report, I may be in trouble. Cohort event monitoring, this is basically a study where we are doing the study. So the scientists, the clinicians and others, they are monitoring whether anything is happening. So as I said, we must know little bit of history because it tells us and how we can take decision based on the historical count. Friends, at least some of the senior teachers will know about the sulfur drugs. The 1960s, we have the major drug digester, but prior to that also we had the drug digesters. Even I remember during my childhood, it was only the sulfur drugs and tremendously used the sulfur. Very, very effective. But there was only one issue with the sulfur drug at the time. Sulfur drugs were not soluble in water. So how to prepare? Pediatric preparation was a big challenge because not soluble in water. So one company in USA, it was in 1937, find out a method and started marketing this sulfanilamide elixir in USA, which was an instant success because pediatric preparation was not available. What happened is the company used a solvent called diethylene glycol. Diethylene, DEG. And what company thought this diethylene glycol is similar to polyethylene glycol. See, the polyethylene glycol is very safe. Even now also we use. But diethylene glycol is very, very toxic. Many people, especially the children, more than 100 children died. And that was the first time. You see how the mistake occurs. Even now it is happening in our country. We talk of, when we talk of alcohol or liquor, we talk of ethyl alcohol. And still we have the huge tragedy, the intermixing of methyl alcohol, because people don't understand the methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, yes, chemically similar But methyl alcohol is terribly toxic. Friends, just 1 tablespoon means 15 milliliter. The 15 milliliter of methyl alcohol is enough to cause blindness, followed by all these effects and death. Just 15 milliliter. While the ethyl alcohol, we have no issue. And the toxicity of methyl alcohol is treated with ethyl alcohol. So what happened is that is the first time the whole world understood that it is not this drug component alone that is important. Along with the drug component, what are other things used? So it is not just the drug molecule alone, the drug product is important. So the product should be tested for safety and efficacy. In spite of all these, US government even could not prosecute the company which is responsible for more than 100 deaths in US because there was no rule. The rule said at that point of time it was only the drug should be safe, but other excipient, other materials used in the preparation of medicine should also be so. That was not there in the rule. Then another major disaster that occurred is thalidomide disaster. Thalidomide was marketed in Germany initially, and this was also an instant success. Why it was instant success? Thalidomide was promoted as a substitute to phenobarbital. Phenobarbital, the sleeping tablet, and a strip of sleeping tablet is enough to kill a person. But 100 thalidomide tablets even could not kill a dog. So that was the septimargin of thalidomide. That was the septimargin of thalidomide. Yes, in terms of safety, in terms of killing, but it has another angle where it causes phocomelia, that is the uh, childbirth occurs without limbs. Childbirth occurred without limbs. More than 10,000 children born during these 3 years. And how many countries? 46 countries. But see the beauty. America did not have the impact of thalidomide. America did not have the impact of thalidomide. All European countries, Australia, everywhere. But America did not allow. Why America did not allow? Because this lady who is with the Nixon, you can see, Dr. Frances Kelsey. This lady was the medical officer who was in charge of approving thalidomide, and she did not approve. At that time in America, it was that every 60 days they have to approve. They cannot keep it pending. Any application, it becomes automatic. Now only in our drug regulation they have introduced, if within 6 months you don't get any approval from the drug control authority, it will be presumed. And so it was there in those periods, 60 days. So what this lady, medical officer Francis, what she did is, just at the end of the 60 days, she had just told incomplete application. So 3-4 times she rejected like that. And that rejection has delayed the whole process of approval. And by this time, the adverse event for Comelia is reported throughout the globe wherever thalidomide. And because Dr. Francis had the courage against all the political, economic pressure, she refused to give approval. And she has does tremendous help to the Americans because she has protected the American from the thalidomide disaster. And for that, Nixon has given the highest award of the country was given to her. Friends, when we look at all this, we find many drugs that have come to the market and after some times they have been withdrawn. The statistics says, 2005 statistics, 130 products were withdrawn. 1/3 of them withdrawn in the 2 years of launching. Half is withdrawn within 5 years of marketing. And most frequent problem was hepatic, hematological, or cardiovascular complications. So that means the pharmacovigilance is not new, only the terminology is new. So coming to genesis of pharmacovigilance in this country, in India, initially it started in 1982 as an ICMR project with 5 centers. Then in 2005, National Pharmacovigilance Program was launched and many centers were opened throughout the country, but there was a problem with this because it was a World Bank funded project under capacity building. So that means the funding after some time it stopped. Fortunately, we have a visionary drug controller and he made to it that we must have the budgetary support for our National Pharmacovigilance Program. And the program is launched again in 2010 with its own budgetary support. Not that we are depending on third party. Then many things happened. Initially, it was All India Institute of Medical Science was the national coordinating center, and it is shifted to Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. And after reaching to the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, after shifting this has grown tremendously, and it could reach to that position. The World Health Organization declared our Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission as a collaborating center on public health and regulatory substance. Besides this medicinal program, we have 3 other pharmacovigilance program, the vaccine, the adverse effect following immunization, hemovigilance, the blood and blood products, and the materiovigilance is the medical devices. So this is the WHO in 2017 declared this after confirming that the National Drug Regulatory Authority has passed the assessment process. Friends, this is all what we talked about the modern medicine mostly. And here are few disturbing reports on AYUSH medicines. Herbal products containing aristoloic acid have been sold both to treat skin condition and weight loss. Kidney failure was reported with these products in Belgium, more than 70 cases in 1993. In Britain, this becomes the prescription only medicine, and emergency ban was introduced for import, sell, and supply. 3 deaths occurred from the use of herbal cure of diabetes. So liver damage, kidney damage, diabetic ketoacidosis, coma, all these things because of some herbal cure, and many times they are not known what is the composition of these cures. You might have seen in newspapers cough and asthma, so-called herbal medicines. They are all mixed with synthetic steroids. The Ayurvedic medicines under FDA scan because of the heavy metal content. Similar situation was also reported in Canada and Australia. A top-selling herb, St. John's wort, used to treat depression and other maladies, seem to interfere with the metabolism of cyclosporine. These are some of the things that we have seen in some of the literatures and newspaper reports. The Australian prescriber, one of the very credible journal, and which is available free. Very important thing, you see, the Australian prescriber is available free and is a very, very good journal. So it has reported a case. The person came to India and went back to Australia. And what it says, a male taken unidentified Ayurvedic medicine for 5 months, dispensed by an Indian hospital, was admitted to a hospital in Australia with abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, and so on, and was found to have the lead poisoning. The lead level was seen 120 microgram per deciliter. His wife too, also asymptomatic, but has a high level of lead in the blood. So acceptable level is less than 10 microgram per deciliter, but the patient has so high. See here, another glorious achievement we say, but was found to contain tadalafil. Very big advertisement we see. Friends, we have always believed that our Ayurveda medicines have been, how many years we have been using, we do not know. So long we have been using, and there is no adverse effect, there is no side effect. This is what we believe. Friends, in evidence science we call absence of evidence is not an evidence. Absence of evidence is not an evidence because we never attempted to document all those things. We have just ignored this. That is not the only issue. There is another issue. Even if we believe, yes, the Ayurvedic medicine, Siddha medicine, or even any medicines that we have been using so long, but we have been using them in a different way. Now every medicine is modernized. We are not using the medicine in the same way what people have been doing over the years. So when we have modernized the properties of medicines, we have used other ingredients in the medicine, so that all can contribute to the adverse event. So we need to document them. There is one more reason. When the Chinese traditional medicines are acceptable even to the Americans, why they do not accept our medicines? Because they have modernized, yes. Along with the modernization, they have also done the collection of the sorry, they have done the collecting evidence of the adverse events, that they are able to establish that in our study there was no report of evidence. So this is one issue. If we want to make our medicines popular throughout the globe, we need to go along with the global acceptance guideline. Friends, the some of you might be aware of or may not be aware of, just to give a credit to all those people who have shouldered first time a massive task of launching the pharmacovigilance of ASU medicine, Ayurvedic, Siddha, and even it was launched in 2008. The man behind is Dr. D.C. Katosh. Anyway, after he's not there in the ministry at this moment. He has gone back. He has gone back to the uh, practice his medicine in CGS supply. Then, of course, one is I myself. The another is Prof. Saravinarana Acharya from the Ayurvedic University, and Dr. Galeev, who is currently the coordinator at All India Institute of Ayurveda. So these are the few people who initially shouldered the responsibility of launching the pharmacovigilance program. And this was the first in 2008. We have developed this National Pharmacovigilance Protocol for ASU drugs. So the present program, you'll see here two important changes in this. Earlier it was only ASU, and now H is added. Homeopathy is added to the program. And the objective of this program is to develop the culture of documenting. Yes, friends, when we document, always we look at, is it true that what I am documenting? We don't need to be true. We just need to be suspicious. We just need to be suspicious. If you suspect, document. To undertake the safety monitoring, to undertake surveillance of misleading advertisement appearing in print and electronic media. So the two important, actually three we can say, is the coordination center is changed. It was earlier Gujarat Ayurvedic University. Now it is All India Institute of Ayurveda. The homeopathy drugs are included, and the surveillance of misleading advertisement is another component to this national program. And this program is a three-tier program. We have the national program, national center, intermediary center, and peripheral centers. Friends, National Institute of Ayurveda, located in Delhi, is the national center for the ASUH drugs. Then the 5 national institute under AYUSH, they are the intermediate centers, and there are many peripheral centers, and your institute is one of the peripheral center. So if we have the adverse drug reaction or adverse drug effect or adverse drug event, what is the problem? Many may not have any significant side effect. They do not notice, or even if notice, they ignored. But sometimes there are serious and even fatal effects. Friends, someone says these are all from the nature and they're natural and does not have any significant toxicity. Friends, we have poison in nature also. People commit suicide by taking few smashed seeds that are available in nature. So the blind belief of us that if it comes from the nature, it will be not harmful, it would be safe. And so that should not happen to us. So we have these two terminology, friends: adverse drug reaction and adverse event. Now we are talking only about the adverse event. Initially, it was the adverse drug reaction. So adverse drug, if we know that the drug has caused, then it is fine, it is adverse drug reaction. And when we are not sure, we are using medicine, something unusual happened to the patient, we terminalize that, we make it as adverse event or adverse experience, something what. So it could be because of the drug or because of some other issues during the medicine use. ADR in a patient is an adverse outcome. See here, ADR in a patient is an adverse outcome that is attributed to a suspected action of drug, while the adverse event is an adverse outcome that occurs after the use of drug, but which may or may not be linked to the drug. May or may not link to the drug. In other words, we say all ADRs are adverse drug events, but reverse is not true. That is, all adverse drug events are not adverse drug reaction. All adverse drug reactions are adverse event, but all adverse events are not adverse drug reaction. Then also we have the terminology like serious adverse events or serious adverse drug reactions, the side effect, and as a medical, you are aware about all these things, so I will not touch this. I'll just touch severity and serious. Both are not same. Some may have severe headache, but this headache may not be serious. So severity is a subjective assessment. On the other hand, the seriousness is outcome based. Seriousness is outcome based. That means that something is going to happen to the patient. The adverse drug reactions can be classified into many types, but two common are type A and type B. We have C, D, and so on. But type A and type B are common. So, what is the common property between the type A? Type A is related to known pharmacology. Means we know if we increase the dose, we may have increased level of the reaction. Another is type B, which is allergic drug reaction, and this allergic drug reaction, it is not quantitative. It is not quantitative. It is not predictable also. So we have to sometimes very careful, and that is why most of the time if you see when the clinician writes the case sheet, they ask the patient, do you have any allergy, any allergy, especially the drug allergy. And there are hospitals and institutions, once they identify that this drug is allergic to the patient, so those patients are given even the card, one card. They say, wherever you go, that is the allergic card, wherever you go for treatment, you carry this card and show to the doctor, so the doctor will not prescribe that medicine. So the challenges in our Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic medicine, pharmacovigilance, the belief natural means safe, which is not true. Of course, the funding is slowly getting uh, this situation because now the budgetary provision is available for this. And the physicians often find no time because physicians always say, my priority is to document all these things, or my priority is to see the patients. Yes, sometimes we understand them because the physician patient ratio is not appropriate in our country. Number of physicians available is much less than the number of patients. So we understand them, but still we encourage them to bear little of their time, at least identify, and need not make the complete documentation. Just notify to the pharmacovigilance center. So we have now the pharmacovigilance center where the people are exclusively available. They can document this. Sometimes the health professionals shows no interest. Why they shows no interest? So by doing that, what I am going to gain? And similar is the interest of other health professionals. Then there are issues of fear of litigation. Somebody may go and tell that this medicine has caused this reaction. If it is known that this medicine has caused, is likely to cause, or earlier reports are available, why the doctor did not see it. So we have the fear of litigation, though repeatedly they are assured that such reports are not the evidence for anyone going for litigation. So it is all very important how to encourage the people, the professionals, especially Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathic professionals, how They can be encouraged, they can be motivated, they can be sensitized so that they will promote pharmacovigilance activity. So what we require for documentation, we just need these 4 points. So who is the person reporting? Who is the patient who experienced these? What is or what are the suspected products? It is always we talk suspected. It is just the suspicion. And what is the suspected reaction? A brief description of it. Only these 4 data we have, we can make a report. Then question comes, yes, we give the report. What happens to the report? At a higher level, these reports are assessed to find out, is there a convincing relationship between the drug and the event? So whether really it is not that all the reports we submit, that every report confirms to have the relationship between the, because now we are talking of even not the adverse drug evasion or the adverse drug event, we are talking of adverse event. So they will do the causality assessment, and based on this causality assessment, they classify them by the certain, probable, possible, unlikely, unclassified, or unaccessible. So they classify them into 5 types. So other than us, who else will be interested on this pharmacovigilance? The drug regulatory authorities, as far as we are concerned, the drug controllers or FDA in some states, pharmaceutical companies, professional associations, both medical, pharmaceutical, including the nursing, then internationally World Health Organization and Uppsala Monitoring Center, the national center now we have in India, national centers. The academia are interested because if not for anything, at least we can have publication. The media and the consumer organization. When so many people are interested on this, and when the pharmacovigilance specialist, pharmacovigilance professional, they have to communicate with all these agencies who are interested, and this communication should be in such a way that you know what happened even at this junction, when we are in the midst of the second wave of COVID and our vaccine hesitancy continues. So many things people talk about the vaccines, starting from some people say that this will make us important. So that is why the government is promoting this. Some people say earlier we have seen the many vaccines that they say it causes this effect, it causes that effect. But most of the time, those reports are erroneous reports. Deliberately, they wanted to disturb the vaccination mechanism. Ultimate goal of pharmacovigilance is to promote rational and safe use of medicinal products, the assessment and communication of the risk and benefits of drugs which are already available in the market, and educating and informing the patient. Friends, I normally say If we know, yes, if we look at our literacy level, those who are health literate, they are more literate about the disease, but less literate about the medicine. It's because people think medicine does not care, does not require care. Yes, if we know our medicines, they work better for us. Friends, this is William Inman, one of the pioneer in pharmacovigilance in London, United Kingdom. He identified 7 deadly sins that one should not conceive. The mistaken belief only the safe drugs are approved for use, fear of litigation, a sense of guilt of having caused the harm, ambition to collect and publish a person. See here, he first prepares, one should report, then only question of publishing. Ignorance of mechanism, differences about the reporting just because I I suspect it. Lethargy, why should I do? I have better work to do. So these are, he identified 7 deadly sins. If we can avoid these deadly sins, we can make medicines safer for us and also safer for every medicine user. Friends, as I said, pharmacovigilance is a very, very new terminology in health science. The WHO has only in 2002 has introduced this terminology. So just like we have the many collaborating center, WHO collaborating center, World Health Organization. So one of the collaborating center is for education. This is the, I happen to be one of the invitees to attend, participate in the program, educating the educators, because whoever the present day educators, many of them have not studied pharmacovigilance during their program. So how to educate these people so that they will be successful in educating the teachers on pharmacovigilance education. So what we can do, we can educate all stakeholders, sensitize them. Friends, if we can, one person can sensitize one patient that you properly use this medicine, you can just think of how many will be able to. And always, it is not just the health workforce, but patient also should be considered. Patient should also be. Friends, you might have seen, don't underestimate the power of a common man. And it is very, very important if we want to bring a change in the health system, if we want to make a safer world for us, it is important that we should educate the common man. We can also participate in the national program. So yes, you have seen an adverse event, document it, send it to the nearest center. If you find sending to the nearest center is difficult, send it to the national center. And also help the interested persons, especially our students who are the future. So we can motivate them, because pharmacovigilance is an exciting career. And friends, anything which comes first, the new, whoever jumps into it, it is easy for them to establish and get the recognition. So I'm coming closer to the end of my presentation. Just 3 to 4 minutes more. Take home message. No medicine is 100% safe for all people in all circumstances. So risk remains, whether it is this medicine or that medicine. Many of you probably think paracetamol is a safe medicine, and you see how rampantly it is used at different strength, and just like that people swallow this. Paracetamol is used in experimental animal to induce hepatotoxicity. In pharmacological experiments, just to induce hepatotoxicity in animal, people use so that is what no medicine is 100% safe for all people in all. It is understandable that the patient die of lack of access to medicines. Yes, medicine not available. Just like we saw, that's fine. But it is not acceptable that the patients die of medicine. That so, and as I said, pharmacovigilance is a novel and satisfying area to work. So let's ensure the medicines available for us as well as our future generation safe and effective, and we can contribute to this mission. Friends, these are some of the free sources available on pharmacovigilance. You can write to them. They are available electronically in the website. Free resources and very, very good resources on pharmacovigilance. And most of my presentation is based on my textbook of pharmacovigilance concept and practice. And this is pardon me, I have spoken for about 1 hour or so. If you do not understand me properly, I am responsible. You are not responsible for it. Thank you very much for all your understanding and patience. I shall be very happy to answer some of your queries, some of your concern.
Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful and elaborate descriptions regarding the pharmacovigilance and its importance also. So now I ask the participants if they have any query, they can ask directly to Mohanta, sir. Any participants, if you are having any doubt, you can directly ask.
To my student community, this is a wonderful area to build a career. And why this is a wonderful area? Because the government has made this mandatory pharmaceutical industries to have the pharmacovigilance activities. And coming to the other way, if you see many of the software companies, they have started the pharmacovigilance activities. So there is a very, very wide opportunities available for us.
Is there any question? I think, sir, there is no question. So thank you so much for your wonderful and elaborative descriptions. Now I'd like to request Dr. Eva to offer the vote of thanks. Over to you, Eva.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I myself, Dr. Ibrahim Potem, Program Assistant on behalf of Peripheral Pharmacovigilance Center, Nia Shillong, would like to offer a word of thanks. It's always a pleasure to listen to Dr. Guru Prasad Mohanta, who delivered an important topic, Pharmacovigilance of ASU and H medicine, some basics. During his deliberation, he stressed upon importance of reporting and documentation. Sir, in spite of your busy schedule and within short notice, you accept to be the speaker of today's event. Sir, we are really grateful to you, sir. Hope in future we will meet at MIA. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to our director, sir, for motivate us to organize this event in short span. We know sir is busy with so many responsibilities. Even then has found time to grace this occasion. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank to all the teaching faculties, consultants, medical officers, hospital staff, students, administrative staff of MIA who would make this event a grand success. Once again, I thank one and all present here. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.